Can you hear the bubbling? That's the bubbling of the fondue.
Welcome to Jump Podcast, formerly known as The Budget-Minded Traveler. I'm your host, Traveling Jackie, and I'm here to explore travel, adventure, and lifestyle in ways meant to motivate you to move and get out and see the world. Let this show be a source of travel advice and inspiration, but remember that in the end, it's you who takes the leap. Hey everyone, welcome back to Jump Podcast. This is episode 104, and today we are doing something for the first time. We are going to time travel, which I actually think we have done before on this show, but this time we're time traveling to a cheese fondue dinner in the Swiss Alps. I'm sorry if you're already drooling. I promise it's only going to get worse. But this is more than just a podcast episode. It is an experience that I'm really excited to share with you. I'm about to sit down to dinner with my friend Carly, who just completed a week-long bike trip with me through the Swiss Alps. And we are celebrating with a fondue dinner. And we're bringing you with us. You're going to hear a lot more than just a conversation here. And I hope that you enjoy the entire experience. In fact, I think it could be the beginning of a Dinner with Jackie series or something. So please let me know if you like it. You can always share comments with me at Traveling Jackie on Instagram. Before we time travel to the Swiss Alps, I want to share a little bit about how I know Carly. You're going to hear more about this once we get to talking, but simply put, Carly and I are friends because she follows my blog and listens to this podcast. She has been on 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 of my group trips this year alone. And I did not know her before, plus this trip to Switzerland. And so, you guys, I promise good things come from saying yes to adventure with me. And on that note, there is still space for the ladies out there to join me in Ecuador this February for my second Ladies Adventure Retreat, which was, in fact, the first of Carly's trips with me this last year. It was a thoroughly beautiful experience in the highlands of Cotopaxi, Ecuador, and we're going back to do it again in February. So if you want to take a leap with me, jump onto that trip. You can find more info at travelingjackie.com/Ecuador. And there will be more group trips announced after the new year. So make sure you're subscribed at travelingjackie.com/trips to stay in the loop for these amazing experiences that may lead you to eventually sharing a fondue dinner with me in the Swiss Alps on the podcast. You really just never know. Okay, turning back to the topic of conversation today, you guys know that I completed my first 2 bike tours ever earlier this year in Portugal and Austria. And I feel like both of those were excellent introductions to bike touring. And they both prepared me for this one through the Swiss Alps, which I also did with biketours.com. And this one was a step up in every way. It was bigger, tougher, more beautiful, the most rewarding. I cannot speak highly enough of it. You're going to hear a lot about that in this episode. When it was over, I got on a train to Italy and I backtracked some of our route. And I was just staring out the window of the train, just smiling ear to ear like giddy. And when I was editing this episode, I texted Carly to laugh with her all over again. And she replied, I still can't get over how much fun it was. I've been looking at getting a bike at home and I'm trying to talk various people into another bike trip. And she had never done a bike trip before either. So this is real amazing stuff. And I'm excited to share it with you guys all over again. Also, at one point, we mentioned the videos from my GoPro. And you can watch the video that I produced from this trip online. You can find it by going to the show notes page, which, if you remember from now on, is travelingjackie.com/podcast. So with that, please excuse any extra clinking of glasses that you hear in the background. We are, in fact, in a restaurant. So let's time travel. Let's go to a tiny town on Lake Zurich at the base of the Swiss Alps winding through the cobblestone city streets to the very center of the plaza where the old town hall sits. It is now a restaurant, so let's go inside. We're so grateful to Osprey Packs for partnering with us and supporting the podcast, so please stay tuned for more about them later on. I have an opportunity for you to join me in real life for some real travel. Here's the latest Jump Adventures update. We are going to Greece for a bike and boat island hopping adventure this May 9th to 16th, 2025, and we still have space left. Check out jumpadventures.com to learn more and book now. We're going to have a yacht all to ourselves with ensuite cabins on board, so you get to sleep in the same bed every night as we start in Athens and make our way west toward the island of Corfu. You'll have your own bike for the week, e-bike if you want one, for cycling the islands as we go, in between meals crafted by our private chef on board, and all the relaxing you want to do on the top deck under the Mediterranean sun. These bike and boat adventures are our most carefree and relaxed trips. All you have to do is say yes and show up, and there's still space. Head over to jumpadventures.com to grab your spot now, and we'll see you there.
I am currently in Switzerland with my friend Carly, and we just completed 150 miles riding our bikes from Lake Geneva in Switzerland to Lake Zurich on the other side of the Alps in Switzerland. And right now we happen to be in a restaurant that is in the town hall, in a town called Rapperswil. And we are ordering cheese fondue, and we're bringing you with us because they put us in our own room, because there's a rule in this place that if you order cheese fondue, because of the smell of the cheese,
they want you smelling like cheese.
Yeah,
if you don't want to smell like cheese,
right? And so everyone else who's fine dining downstairs gets to be downstairs while we eat fondue up here, and we're the only ones here. So
it's fantastic.
Yeah, so we turned on the recorder, and we're gonna chat about our trip that we've been doing for the past 6 days. We are finished now, and so let's chat about it.
Yeah.
So first of all, hi, Carly. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
All week long. No, so first of all, let's say how we know each other, because this is a super cool story.
Well,
and I always love to share this part of the story.
I can't remember when I found you. I found you through the packing lists
years ago. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I just, had the notifications show up for you, and then you ended up doing a summer in Boulder, and I live in Denver, and you put out a thing that said, hey, people in this area, come have a beer. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go have a beer with Traveling Jackie. Yay. Turns out she's pretty cool, and now we hang out.
Yeah, so watch out, you guys. If you come to one of my meetups or come on one of my trips, you might be hooked for life.
Well, when you meet up with her, she'll tell you about the trip she's doing, and then you'll want to do the trip. And if you do one trip, it's over. You'll be a groupie for life like me, and you'll just be able to not say no ever again.
And you might find yourself in an old town hall in Switzerland.
Yeah, having just biked across the Alps after you hadn't been on a bike for 2 years. Yeah. Because that sounds like a good idea, because Jackie said it was a good idea. And you know what? It was. Yes. It was a great idea.
It was.
It was.
So let's talk about that. First, let's cheers, because we earned it.
Yeah, we did. Oh my goodness.
This is my third bike trip this year. And listeners already know that, because just a few episodes ago, well, like 10 episodes ago, I talked about my experience in Portugal and Austria. And I came on as like a scared, nervous. I had no idea what to expect. And those were episodes 90 and 91. And then I came back and said what I thought about it, how I felt, and so much of what I said, you are saying now. And so right? I love this. Yeah. And so, first of all, you've never done a bike tour before.
I've never done a bike tour. And I have certainly I've never spent all day on a bike, to be quite honest. I have I used to have a cruiser, an old school beach cruiser with no gears, which meant I basically didn't do hills.
Yeah.
And
I had one of those, a Kmart special. It's like 100 pounds. No gears, doesn't,
it doesn't do anything.
Flat.
Right.
It's even hard to drive on flat.
Yes. Yes. So that was the last bike I ever owned. And I probably haven't ridden a bike. It has to be at least 2 years. It has to be. So why I thought this was a good idea is beyond me.
Because I said it was a good idea.
You did. That's right. You were like, this is going to be epic.
Me.
And I was like,
that's right.
Right. It's going to be epic. And you know what? It was.
Yeah.
And you know what? For those of you who are like, ooh, I haven't been on a bike in 2 years. Ooh, I question my abilities. The magic words. And I think this is a direct quote from your text to me. Magic words. E-bike.
E-bike. It's so true.
It is a magic contraption because you can basically be a non-biker and be like, what's that? Is that a hill? Is that an Alp ahead of me? It's an Alp. And you can just hit a button or 2 or 3 and get up over an Alp. And then you're like,
I love that you're calling it. Like that.
I'm sorry. Do you think that those hills were not Alps?
No, I felt it with all of my legs.
Yes, because Miss Jackie here was not on an e-bike. She was on a regular bike because she's a badass.
Thank you. Yeah. So the tour that we did was called Swiss Lakes by e-bike, and now I understand why they. Oh, here comes our
Fondue.
Set up. Ooh. That's the flame. Danke. Okay, so now I understand why they recommend it. Actually, it's right there in the title. It is in the title, Swiss Lakes by e-bike. Because apparently they don't want you coming along thinking, oh, I'm going to ride a hybrid touring bike for this one, like I did. But you can do it. I would say if you don't question your ability on a bike, you're in really good shape, and you want a challenge, heck yeah, go for the regular bike because there are a ton of hills. I mean, they don't call it the Alps for nothing. But it's doable. I just did it.
Right.
However, if you...
surprise for you!
Oh, here we go.
Yay.
100 years later, the water arrived.
That's okay.
There we go.
Dankeschön.
Bitte schön.
Okay.
Zum Wohl.
We love our server. She's awesome. I wonder what her name is. We should ask her.
I looked at it. I think Carlina or something. It was like
it's Carly?
a little,
What?
sort of.
Anyway, though, the point is, if
You have to be sure you can do it regularly.
Right, that's you need to really, really be on it. But if you don't feel that way and you want to see the Swiss Alps anyway by bike, you can totally do it because Carly has never done a bike tour before, hasn't been on a bike in 2 years.
Beginner.
Yep.
Like I was questioning everything going in. Actually, I wasn't. I was like, I'm just going to do this thing. And then I showed up day 1 and I was like, oh God, I have to ride a bike?
She was nearly puking.
Wasn't I? I was so nervous.
By the time we got on the bikes, you're like, let's just go before I yak. Which I thought was hilarious.
Yes, because you don't really know. I was picturing the last time I biked like a normal bike, and I was expecting it to be very difficult, which is why I was so nervous, I think, because I had seen the hills just walking to the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, even in Lake Geneva, you're kind of just on the very edge of the Alps. And
But
they'd start right.
the hills go straight
Day
up.
one.
Day 1 even, we were just straight up.
Day 1 was straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that this was gonna be like kind of flat. Like I wouldn't say any part of this would be flat.
Why would you think it would be flat?
Because on the website it's like rolling hills and vineyards, and I'm like, okay, rolling hills, like I can do that. But no, it's not rolling hills. It's like straight up switchbacks in a lot of places.
Yes.
It's steep, and
Very
so
steep. The grade was actually, I think we had 2
2 spots.
Even you had, and you're a powerhouse, you had 2 days where you had to walk the thing up.
2 spots.
2 spots. 2 different days.
Yeah. Not very big spots.
No.
But where, we could, both of us had to get off of our bikes and walk.
Right. Me with the assist was like, this is not happening. It's just too high up. Yeah.
So we rode our bikes over some Alps.
Yes.
And
but I would say, going back, the beginner thing, you can be a total novice and kill this thing. Mm-hmm. You can.
Like you just did. That's right. By the way, how do you feel now?
I feel like I can't get enough. I am addicted. I'm like pissed off that I'm not getting on a bike tomorrow.
I know. You get really used to it.
It's a very somehow freeing feeling. Just this type of travel. I think this just ability to go when you want to go, stop. And it helped that we were self-guided. We were not in a group.
Yes.
So we could stop 17 times in a morning for photo ops
before we hit 2K.
Layers on or layers off or whatever. You just do whatever you want. And it's freeing. But even when you're just going, like yesterday, where we just biked all day, it was almost flat all day, I would say. Almost flat all day yesterday. And we just biked for most of the day pretty consistently. And even when we're just moving, it is a freeing feeling. You just get to go. You got to go as fast as you wanted. I got to go as fast as I wanted, or slow, vice versa. You just get to go at whatever pace you're comfortable. And it's glorious.
Yeah. At one point you said, I think this might be the closest I'll get to flying.
I did.
And I loved that. Will you explain that?
Because when it's different, right? If you're going up a hill, you're struggling. Or if you're like me and you're going down a hill and you're trying not to go too fast, but when you're flat on pavement and there's a gorgeous lake to your right or a Alp or meadow that looks painted to your left, when you just get to kind of pedal at an easy pace and look around you, it feels like you're weightless a little bit. And it feels like I imagine flying might feel.
Yeah. I love that. It adds like a layer of bliss.
100%. That's why we were screaming out.
Super cool.
Happy.
I know. I kept doing. I don't know if you could hear me, but every now and then I just like give I'd be like, woo, I just like riding along, like just get so excited.
Yes.
Like, stick an arm in the air. Woohoo! Like, this is awesome.
Happy. Yes.
Yeah. The Alps. I mean, oh my gosh. Okay, so you guys, I have been to some incredibly beautiful places. I spend a lot of time in Patagonia. I live in the freaking Rockies. Like, you live in Denver.
I am.
I mean, you live in the Rockies too, but
this put the Rockies to shame.
The Swiss Alps are absolutely, hands down, without doubt, one of the top most beautiful places I have ever been.
I think every movie backdrop ever painted based on this is accurate. It looked painted while we were in it.
Oh my gosh, we kept saying that.
Yeah, like
It looks unreal. The colors,
unreal.
the shading, like even the shading. I'm saying like it's a painting. It was amazing. There were so many colors on the hillsides. The cowbell. Oh,
the cowbell.
The
More
cowbells
cowbell.
were just nonstop.
Yeah.
It was like a sound that went with the painting. It was like,
yes.
Oh man. But then, so as we climbed out of Geneva, remember when we thought day one was pretty? Right? Yeah.
Right.
And then it just got better and better. I think my favorite 2 days were the day 3 and day 4, right in the middle, because we were at the highest point of the Alps.
Some fondue
Here
for you.
comes our fondue.
Yes, there we go.
Dankeschön.
Schön. And this is the potatoes. So here you have plenty of bread, potatoes, and an egg. The idea of the egg is that you finish the fondue, because from the boiling, the cheese stuck on the pan.
Yeah.
And then in the end, you put the egg, and then you have a scrambled egg with cheese.
Oh, I love it.
At the end.
At the end. So, I mean, if you like to throw it after each other, you can do it as well.
Well, we need 2 then.
Oh, it's also good for the hair, I think.
We'll come right back to that. Let's take a moment now to thank our wonderful show sponsors. Osprey is the market leader in technical outdoor, travel, and everyday packs. And I've personally used Osprey packs since 2015. My favorites are the Fairview Trek 50 for multi-day hikes, the Cirrus 24 for day hikes, the Transporter Rolling Duffel 60, which is my trusty check luggage for faraway adventures, and of course, the countless packing cubes I use to organize everything that goes in them. We are proud to support each other on the podcast and beyond. We love getting outside, and we want to see more people outdoors. So find out more and join us at osprey.com.
I think you're right.
I have heard that. Yes.
So you can do whatever you want with the deck, but the Swiss guys, they do it like that they finish the fondue, and then with this crust you have on here, you make a scrambled egg.
Okay.
Cool.
So
We are definitely
keep
doing
the
that.
breakfast till the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Okay. Danke.
And with that,
Remember when I dropped my potato in the fondue? I remember you like driving around. It disintegrated.
Oh man, okay. Get it together. We're recording. I'm not going to edit that out, by the way.
Oh no.
Yeah, everyone just heard that. Amazing.
Okay.
Okay, so we are now.
We were talking about our favorite days.
Yeah.
3 and 4, I
As
think,
we
hands
eat
down.
our fondue that
Actually-
just got placed in front of us.
Actually, the second half of day 1 I very much liked. I liked the back roads. We had a little bit of highway time day 3. I didn't love
Day
that.
1 at the end was the part that we would change. That we would take a bus instead of going up that
I'm
hill.
sorry, I meant, okay, before highway time on day 1, like after lunch,
Yeah.
like we're in the back roads and it was just so, yeah,
That
I very
was
much
really
liked
nice.
that. But then day 3, day 4,
That was
Hands on my
Sound
favorite.
of Music references came about, even though we were in Switzerland, not Austria. But still, that's what it looks like. It's like rolling, grassy, green hills.
so green, you can't,
It's so green
Imagine.
everywhere. Like everywhere is so green. Also,
there's not a green in the Crayola box that matches this.
It had snowed, and so there's a fresh dusting layer of snow on the high Alps, which was absolutely incredible contrast against the bright green.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was intense.
I think that my favorite areas were that region, that Thun region. Danke. That was,
Almost good.
we ended the rolling, oh man, as we came into Spitz and then took the ferry to Interlaken and then along those lakes that were just north of Interlaken. I mean, this was the Swiss Lakes route. So we saw, actually, I don't know how many lakes we saw.
At least
there were
10.
a lot. At least 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we rode along them, along
Literally.
the shores of a lot of them. It was
Yeah.
so beautiful.
And God, that first lake just after Interlaken was silent.
oh man.
Dead.
That was my favorite lake.
Silent.
It was
Glorious.
so beautiful. Like eye candy nonstop. In fact, actually, we went too fast, I think. I think this tour would be better with an extra night somewhere in the middle, if not 2. Because we had long days that we were riding. And so, of course, we felt pressured to get there. And we stopped, 900 times a day to
Yes.
take photos. And so... and so... we literally...
But that's because literally around every turn is a new vista that assaults your eyes, and you had to stop. It wasn't just, we couldn't get it was just that every single minute was glorious.
Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. I have an Instagram story on highlight, by the way, about all of this. So if you guys want to see our day-to-day, go check that out. Yeah, so let's talk about, for people interested in doing this specific tour, because I have a feeling, actually I already know
Interest
a
is
lot
gonna
of you
peak.
have already responded to my story and expressed interest in doing this yourself and asked me some questions. So let's go through some things. First of all, the tips that I would recommend right off the bat are, I would say, add another day while you're in the middle, like in the days 3 and 4. Add another day. Request another night in a hotel. Somewhere in there. Just to slow it down a little bit. To slow down the pace.
I would actually bike from Spets to Interlaken, stay there, and then Interlaken on.
But
instead of the
do you
boat.
remember the reason that they said that they recommended the ferry there was because of highways and cars, and so they recommended taking the ferry, which was beautiful. But maybe you could just spend a day in Interlaken. There's so much to do. What if you just go from Spets to Interlaken and like play for a day?
Yeah.
Maybe you do a different bike ride.
I was going to say, or a different route might get you there
something,
without the highway.
Anyway, I would
We were
add
on the
a day.
same route the whole time, which I think is why
9, yeah.
we were on the
National
9, which is
Route
why
9.
they suggested these bypasses. But you could probably,
There goes the bread.
but you could probably do a different one for that little bit.
So there are several
Potentially.
routes across Switzerland for biking, hiking, even rollerblading. We saw on the signs, and we were on the 9, and there were signs all along the way.
You never even had to stop to look at your map or app. You could, but you didn't have to if you were staying on the route. Yeah, it was super easy. They were very well marked. Mm-hmm. If you ever thought like, oh man, I haven't seen a sign in a second or in a little bit, wait like 3 seconds and there it will be.
Yeah, it was really well marked.
Mm-hmm. Even through towns and such.
Mm-hmm. There is an app as well. Mm-hmm. It's called Schweiz Mobile, I think.
Switzerland Mobility.
Yeah, and it's very helpful because it shows the route of the 9 and it shows the dot of where you are along the way. So you can tell if you're exactly on it or if you've gone off of it.
Yes.
Which we did use in conjunction with Maps.me, which I've talked about before. And I will continue singing its praises.
Yes.
I think it is maybe singularly the best app for adventure travelers because
It had a separate bike.
it has bike directions. So you can like route using a bicycle.
Which would not necessarily always take you on the highway.
Right. And it's super accurate. As long as you download, I think there were like 4 or 5 maps of just Switzerland alone that I had to download all the different regions. Can you hear the bubbling? That's the bubbling of the fondue. This is awesome.
Yeah. Actually, the Maps.me came in super clutch when some of the hotels were off the route.
Yeah.
And you
which
have
I
no
would-
paperwork that says how you're getting there. So
Which I would also recommend. We didn't do this.
ahead of time, we did not know.
But ahead of time, when you sign up for this trip, which by the way, we're doing this through biketours.com. You can book on that website. When you sign up for this trip, they send you a hotel list. And I would recommend going through the hotel list and making sure every single one of those hotels is on the 9, is on the route that you want to take. You can even download the map first. Download the app first so you can look at the 9, etc. Like figure it out. Make sure your hotels are on the 9 because the first day, not the first
2
day.
The first 2 days,
But,
yeah.
Actually,
in Vevey, we
that's
were
true.
not on.
Vevey, we weren't, but we were actually closer to the route then. So I
Closer.
think that they were doing us a favor. They saved us the hill on that one.
That's right.
So it was the second night, the first full day of riding. Our hotel was actually 11 kilometers
6 miles, Americans.
off of the 9, and it also was on a very narrow road, highway with no shoulder,
over a pass.
Yeah, it was straight up too.
Yeah.
So that was like, we took
Not
the bus
great.
down in the morning, literally. And I would recommend it. It was a good hotel though because it
great
had a
hotel.
spa.
Yes.
It was attached to like the town spa, which was
The Gruyere
It was really
spa.
nice. The Gruyere spa. We were in Gruyere. But I would recommend taking a bus up to Charmey. So it was in Charmey, was that first one. Just stop when you get to Boule and take a bus there. Mm-hmm. Don't even think twice about that one. The next day we went to a chocolate factory that's in Broch.
That one.
That one. We're learning. Highly recommend the chocolate factory as well. We actually didn't do much off of the trail because we spent so much time riding because the days were long.
Yeah.
But the second day we actually didn't have great weather, and so we opted to send our bikes with the driver who transported our luggage, which is also an important fact about these trips, is that your luggage is supported. So like you leave it at reception every morning at 9 and someone picks it up and takes it to your next hotel. So it's always there for you.
So you only have to take what you need with you.
And you have bike bags that you can take during the day that just attach to your bike. So you don't have to wear a backpack or anything like that. So day 2, we had freezing cold rain. It was rainy and it was really cold. It was a little windy. Like it was not nice. And so, yeah, right there, Carly. A little hot there at Fondue. Yeah. And so we sent the bikes with the driver. We took a bus and a train to get to our next destination, 3 trains. And we went to a chocolate factory in between. We stopped at a store and picked up cheese and salami and Gruyere.
Gruyere from Gruyere.
Yeah, literally we went through Gruyere that day. It was so fresh and so cheap and so good that we decided that was going to be our lunch every day. And that's also another really good tip is because for several reasons. One, it's super cheap. There's a store called Coop that looks to us like Co-op. But the Coop is everywhere. It's like it's in every town. And so you can go in there and get cheese and bread and salami and just put it in your bag and take it with you because you're not guaranteed that you're going to be in a town when you're hungry. In fact, most likely you will not be in a town.
You will be on top of an Alp.
Also, most of the restaurants here close their lunch at 2 o'clock. And so if you're not there by then for lunch, you're just out of luck. I think the first day we ate doner kebabs because
we did. It was the only thing open in town.
Yeah, because the restaurants weren't open, or they were stopped serving food, and so by the time we got there, we were so hungry. But that nice guy gave us kebabs, and it was delicious.
It was delicious, but it's also a great idea just to have the snack food.
Yes,
because you just don't know
how long it'll take.
Well, when the hunger will hit you, because most days, honestly, around normal lunchtime, 1 or 2, 12 or 1, we weren't hungry yet. It just depends on the day, right? Sometimes in the morning you're going straight up a hill and you are hungry at 12:30, and some days you're not. Some days it's
hot cheese.
Some days it's relatively flat and you get around 1:30 or 2 o'clock before you're actually hungry, and so you want to just be able to eat. You know, whatever that day was, day 3, we were going through this glorious painted landscape, and we decided we'd been climbing all day, and all of a sudden we just were both like, we need to eat. We need to be now.
Yes.
It's this gorgeous. We just plopped ourselves down in a field full of clover and said, "This is the place," and we pulled out lunch, and it was amazing.
It was amazing because
and it's great to have that option.
We were staring at a tiny town opposite us on the mountain right across from us with a perfect little chapel and peaks, and I mean it was
cowbell in the distance.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And
it was perfect.
Yeah, it was glorious.
Yeah.
So
and then it was such a good experience. We did that every day. So no matter where we were, one time we ate in a train station because we were and one time we ate on a bridge.
On the train.
On the train, right?
In the train station.
In the train station, and then when we were in Lucerne, there was this amazing pedestrian bridge with benches on it,
over the river,
with the best view of the whole city. And so we sat there and ate lunch,
surrounded by restaurants.
I highly recommend the picnic thing, even if you don't eat bread and cheese and salami. Like, get food and bring it with you, and picnic wherever you feel like picnicking, because it's also such a cheap way to do it.
It's great. Because note to self, Switzerland in general
is expensive.
It's expensive.
Although I have to say, it has not been as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like dinners, we're spending. We've been spending about 40 or 50 francs each, 30 to 50 each night on dinner.
Yes.
But I mean, in the States, you go out to dinner and you're getting
but
the same exact thing.
It depends on where you are. In Vevey, it was very expensive for dinner.
It was much more, at the beginning.
Yeah, and not so much now that we're more north. But so it just depends.
That is loud. I am sure they can hear that. It's getting louder.
Get it, cheese. Get it.
Listen to that.
is boiling fondue.
We brought
it's
everybody to
delightful, by
dinner
the
with
way.
us. I hope you guys are enjoying this fondue as much as we are.
They haven't burned their tongues yet.
Okay, any more tips for this way? We got the Alps.
Yeah.
We got the hotels. Oh, okay. So the other cool thing is you have a choice to do category A and category B hotels. I would absolutely recommend category A. That's what we're doing.
Solely for the spa.
Because every single night is a spa. All of these hotels are like wellness hotels.
And it's-
Again, double check. And if you find one that's not, I would request to change it. Because as soon as you get that spa, you get used to it. And it's really, really nice at the end of the day. And like,
You're sad when you don't have it.
Yes. So like last night on day 5, we stayed in a town called Zug. I would not recommend staying in Zug. And the hotel that they put us at didn't have a spa at all. And we were so disappointed because it was our longest day
It was our
yet.
longest day. We wanted desperately.
And we killed it, and we were early, and we were like, we're looking forward to the
Spa
spa
time.
and then
Not
it didn't
so
happen.
much.
So yeah, again, check the hotel list and make sure you're getting, category A, you're getting wellness hotels. But this is amazing. So the way that I've decided that this trip could be like a detox, or like not even a detox, just like a reset button, because you're working every day physically, you're exerting yourself, you feel so good at the end of the day. Then you get this spa treatment. They're just pools and saunas, but still every single day.
It's a great way to decompress, especially if you have any anxiety about the various activities. Speaking as a novice who was sometimes like, oh my God, the hills are killing me, or oh my God, the downs are too fast or too steep. So any anxiety or any tight muscles or whatever, it just felt
and we
so
haven't
necessary.
been sore in the mornings
No.
at all. Oh,
No.
the other thing is we brought compression socks,
Yes.
which I always rave about anyway. They go up over your calves. And we've been wearing them every night, and they're good for recovery. So compression socks, spa. We've been stretching a little bit.
Number 1 tip, hands down, if you forget all the other things, get padded bike shorts.
Padded bike shorts and body glide. And gloves. You need gloves. And the ones with the gel on the palms they're very
Carly,
good. So you've been using those, and you could not use otherwise. I have not had those, and I don't miss that.
But you don't desperately cling to your brakes down the hills.
Okay.
But no, for those of you who are at all going to be riding your brakes down the hills, which is 100%, even still day 6, I'm riding my brakes down the hills because going fast just freaks me out a little bit. Hanging onto the brakes. So I did have some thicker, full hand, full finger gloves that I tried to wear on day 3, and I couldn't wear them. And actually, that wasn't a whole lot of downhill that day, if I recall.
Yeah.
It just, however it was, I needed the padding for when I was clutching the brakes. So I would recommend somehow, if you're worried about the coldness, a full fingered padded glove. Is my best.
Also, because right now it's October. It's the first week of October. We've done this in the very first week of October in 2018, and we actually had brilliant weather most of the time. I would say it was between 50 and today it got up to
75. Oh, I thought
70.
it was 73,
Well,
75.
Anyway,
like that, yeah.
So usually nice weather, but we did have some pretty cold up when we were up high. So those gloves Carly was talking about, I actually used them because they were way warmer than the ones I had. So bring all the layers. Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still here.
We're taking our time. We're taking our time.
Yeah, of course, sure. If you saw that you can also move if it's boiling too much. You can move this one, huh? Then it gets a bit smaller, the fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you move it on, it will be more. This is smaller now.
Okay.
Yes. But like this, the crust is growing.
Forming.
And
Yes. Okay.
Do you have enough drinks?
Do you want another one?
I might do one more.
One more, Milo? Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
By the way, Cornelia.
Cornelia.
That's her name. She's amazing.
She is fantastic.
Anyway, I was saying bring all the layers because
all of the layers.
We every day we actually cycled with a lot of layers just
Even
packed
warm
away.
day, yeah.
And
No, because when it was cold.
it was cold.
It was
Yeah.
cold.
I mean,
And-
it snowed. It did snow, and so it was that cold.
Yeah. And even though I'm gonna, on warm days, if you're going downhill, you're still in the Swiss Alps, y'all. It's chilly.
Yeah.
I would wear my raincoat for a windbreak, which actually made a huge difference when you're going downhill because that wind gets real cold.
Yeah. I wore running tights underneath my padded bike shorts. I had socks, and then I had running shoes that are actually waterproof, which I'm in love with right now. They are Cascadia GTX. It's from Brooks Running. And they really are waterproof. They are warm, which I appreciated because if you don't have the waterproof layer, the air will go right through those shoes. And so your toes will get cold because you're constantly against the wind of the bike. So think about that. And then I wore on the top usually a few layers. I had a tank top, I had a long sleeve, I had a vest, I had a fleece, I had a jacket, and it was any sort of combination of those.
And a rain jacket.
Yeah. Which I actually never wore on the bike. I never wore it on the bike.
That's right.
I had my Arc'teryx on. Yeah. But yeah, if you have a good wind layer, because that one's also water resistant. So yeah, think about layers. That's what
they're
layers are
highly important. If you think you're like, oh, I might only need this one day. If it's really cold, bring it.
Yeah, and sunscreen.
And sunscreen.
And sunscreen.
And lip chat.
And water. Bring your own bottle. Bring your own bottle. You can drink the tap water here.
There are actually, you will be up and down through the Alps and you will see these tubs that are up from, sometimes they're against a house, sometimes they're in the middle of nowhere. They're spring fed, I believe. Some of them were not anywhere near a city. And they are clean drinking water.
Oh, yeah.
That you can fill your water bottle on anywhere.
Not
during
to
the
be
day.
confused with the bathtubs that are there for the cows.
Different. That's very different. Yes, if you hear cowbell while you're filling your water bottle, look around, make sure you're not spilling cow water. It's probably gross.
What else? Any other helpful tips for people?
Don't be afraid to do it. Just do it. Yes. Just, if you're like, man, that sounds like fun, but I'm not into biking, or I've never done that, or I'm not comfortable, just do it. You will not be regret. You will not regret it.
You will not regret it. Bring a good camera.
Oh, bring a GoPro. I tell you what, a lot of the time.
Better yet, bring a photographer.
No, because so many of the times, like, you can only stop so much, and even then it doesn't capture it. And I think some of your videos on the GoPro really do capture it because you can just let it go while you're going. Yeah, bring an open mind.
That's the best.
Yeah, bring an open mind and snacks.
And snacks. And fresh Gruyere from the source.
Oh,
well, cheers to us. Because we just kicked ass for 150 miles.
151 miles.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We knew that extra mile.
Across the Alps, across the Swiss Alps. We just rode our bikes across the Swiss Alps.
That happened
this week.
Wow.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. This is really only my second beer, so
It's all good.
I'm good. Yeah. Good job. Thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for joining me, Carly.
Thank you for inviting me, Jackie. Holy heck.
Okay, until next time.
Yeah. Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
I can still taste that fondue as clearly as I can still hear the cowbells from the countryside. What an experience that was. Thank you also for joining us for our farewell dinner. And now here's my question to you. Did you enjoy that format? Do you like having an experience like that with me? Please let me know. Reach out to me on Instagram at TravelingJackie. Again, I want to shout out to biketours.com for changing my life this year and introducing me to the world of exploring new places on two wheels. This tour is called Swiss Lakes by e-bike. If you book it, tell them Traveling Jackie sent you. And finally, I want to encourage you guys again to check out my group trips. Come have these experiences in person with me. As good as listening to this was, it's so much better in person. So come join me. Ladies, take a leap of your own. Come to Ecuador in February. You never know how saying yes might change your entire world. So head over to travelingjackie.com/trips to see what's currently offered. You are now free to time travel back to your current environment, and I'm sorry for making you hungry. Thank you guys so much for listening wherever you are today. I appreciate you.